Welcome back to the ASUS ROG Dream League, live here from the DreamHack Monster Energy Studios in Stockholm. And we're back. We're in the middle of our first series. First and only series, actually, as today we only have one. And it was a very quick first game. Virtus Pro ending the game in about 20 minutes against Team NP in a very dominant fashion. Of course, sitting here with Jacob and Fog. Guys, what do you think about that game?
See, I'm her friend and you're not. Because I'm like Jacob. We're on a first-name basis and you just fogged.
I would say Giannis, but I don't know if that's proper.
Close enough. That's good.
Okay, Giannis and Jacob. There you go. Or Malcolm Fogged.
Now we have to say her name.
Jorian.
Jorian.
You can just say Joreen. It's close enough. And as a Danish person, you're normally pretty close anyway because you have actually the potential to do the proper R.
You're cheating.
Potato talking.
Cheating.
Okay, so that game, very fast.
Very quick-paced. Kind
Expected
of, just like we kind of said. Like the mid lane was very hard for Envy. It's just like the ping advantage
There's the ping disadvantage, the matchup disadvantage, and then he also sort of dug himself into a hole from the get-go. Giannis and I were discussing this backstage right from the get-go of the game. He bought a Ring of Basilisk as his starting item. And that's a big problem in terms of his damage output for last hitting early on. It doesn't really offer him much but the armor. And it's just generally an item build I would disagree with in that particular matchup. And maybe even in general, there's a lot of Invoker players going this item build.
It's kind of like a... I don't say it's like bad or it's good or not. It's just like it's a play style that you have to just like be very used to because you get the bonus armor on your Forge Spirit, you get the enhanced mana regen, and then a lot of these people, of course, they've been going for Ring of Aquila, so you save money because selling items is not good. Like you never want to be selling your Null Talisman, but
it's greedy and
it can hurt you a bit.
And as displayed in this, I'm not saying the lane would have gone much differently if he had a different item build, but he would have stood a better chance at getting these last hits and a higher net worth because of it.
I believe he was after 8 minutes, he was 40 last hits behind. No one had 40 last hits more than Envy at 8 minutes into the game.
That's
pretty bad,
substantial.
guys. That's pretty bad.
I'm trying not to say anything.
I mean, it's really hard. That matchup.
Is there anything that, in terms of laning stage, could have been done differently? Like, could have there have been a Rubik rotating and sitting mid and babysitting?
Well, the thing is, and we discussed this as well. I actually favored NP's decision-making and how the laning phase went, just because I wasn't completely sure I liked the fact that they aggressive tri-laned on VP's side of things. But as Giannis told me, it's probably just that no one was so confident in this matchup, saying if there's no rotation from their supports, or you can force them to remain in lane, I will easily destroy this guy middle lane, which was exactly what happened.
What happened,
yeah. It's like, I think that Lil was kind of like getting ready to move between all the lanes and everything, and then it was already, I think, 18 last hits on no one with 11 denies to the 6 CS of the Invoker. And when you're laning there, you know how your opponent's doing. You're counting his CS for the most part. So he was probably like, okay, just go pressure the short lane. If these supports can't move like you're saying, I'm going to do just fine. Stack my Ancients maybe a couple times, and that's all I really need in order to just run away with the game. And they did that. Ramses as well did a great job in that bottom lane. I thought that Mojo was actually going to do a little bit better on the CS count, because I think when I glanced, at least it was like, this was early in the game, but it was like 4 minutes or so. It was 14-3 denies on Ramses, and MSS only had like 7 last hits or so, because he was just pressuring. He was trying to right-click him and get him like low and everything. But then Whisk comes in, tethers him, full heals him, and you know, all that work is kind of for naught. Yeah,
and the trade-off is that he can also afford additional regen, even if he needed to. So by all means, he lost that lane. And then they have these little skirmishes early on that he loses out on. He's playing it a bit overly aggressive. Abaddon is still not that strong. I think it was even pre-6. Actually, he had a tower dive at 7 as well, where he went all in for an Ogre with no real killability on him, dove behind the tower down into the tree line. Didn't find the Ogre because he's in the tree line in Fog of War and everything. And 4 heroes were surrounding him, and he gave up another kill. There's just a lot of unwarranted deaths as well.
One of the fights that it was very clear that the game wasn't going to last very long was a fight around 15 minutes. We can take a look at that specific fight on the drawing board, as we've got that for you. It is a fight that lasts 47 seconds, by the way, guys. How about that?
And Jacob loves this. He likes to draw on this a lot.
Okay, so pause, please. Let's take a look at where everybody is. They have seen, obviously, no one, and they want to try and go for him. So we got the lift going. We got the charge going from somewhere else. Actually, he's... where is he? Is that him? No, it's
He's
the
bottom.
courier. Oh yeah, he's bottom. Sorry,
Right.
he's at the country charge.
Oh no, yeah, he's on top of the Abaddon, I believe.
Yeah, and that means that he's very far away, actually. But Envy's on the way. They just want to see if they can kill no one. Play, please.
Yep, and you see VP's in a great position. They have their Juggernaut Wisp tied up in the top over here, so they are ready for the relocate to come into this fight. They have everybody else positioned on the high ground, so no one looks like he's in a bit of trouble here, but they've got everybody else behind.
Yeah, armor coming in as well. They want to try and do, but then Virtus Pro, Virtus Pro is just all pretty close by, so they're gonna fight. Let's do it. They're turning this around. We got the relocate in. All of a sudden, SVG can't really do anything anymore. Envy doesn't know who to attack, who to focus on. Normally, you would go for the ball, and they do try to focus the ball. Envy tries to focus the ball, but he's I think the only one with the ball. I mean,
I wouldn't
Io.
even say they're turning it around. I don't think there was ever any kill chance for NP. The fact that they had the spin on the Rubik stolen from the Juggernaut was the only reason they might have been able to take him down. And even then, that failed.
Look at these side blades soon, by the way. Maybe I'm too early, probably too early.
Yeah, but also like the reason this is so hard for them to fight into is because of this net worth detriment that they already have. So they're fighting with no reveal either. So the melds, he's able to just meld and kind of sit for a second, like we saw on that high ground. And here, two side blades on Envy, a meld strike on MSS, basically almost one shots, and because of this Desolator advantage with max meld, and then AUI's 1 versus 3 heroes.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, at this point in time, Invoker does nothing. He doesn't have the levels needed. He has absolutely no farm to support any kind of damage output.
Yep.
It's just an impossible fight to take when especially because TA needs that one item and then he's just good for 20 minutes, right? Once he has that Desolator, he deals so much damage.
And he even had the blink already too, so it's like 15 minutes of blink Desolator TA who's level 12. He's got max meld, max everything already.
The game was lost in middle lane, basically.
Yeah. So Invoker picking him up third, probably not a good plan. Because it's very easy to counter by the looks of things.
It's not so much the pick in itself, I think. It's more what you do with it, what you choose to do with it. They left him to his own devices on the middle lane, or rather they just let TA do whatever he wanted to, and there was nothing Envy could do.
But that's also because, as you mentioned earlier, Virtus Pro...
Yeah, VP sort of forced their hand.
Yeah, forced their hand to maybe only have Invoker there, nobody else coming to his aid.
Yeah, I think NP needed to give up that lane or do some kind of rotation where they're like, all right, you guys win the aggressive tri-lane because they have a bad rider, so it's already very difficult to deal with. Even if Virtus Pro had dual laned, it would be hard to deal with. Like an Ogre bad rider in itself would have been amazing, or a Wisp bad rider. So they should have just done the rotation and then focused on winning mid and bottom instead, or forced the rotation from Virtus Pro. There was just too much static play. And then when they do try and make a move on the bottom lane where they give up, I think, a triple kill to the Juggernaut, that's basically just a nail in the coffin for them. This middle lane fight obviously didn't help anything either, but...
Yeah.
They also just have, I mean, VP's side, once they get going, like they had a pretty solid advantage, but once they get going, they have Wisp with Healing Ward on top of everything too. So it's just like so much sustain going into these team fights. And who's actually the natural hitter to kill that Healing Ward? It's like a Forge Spirit, but they're already so farmed that, like, how do you get the Healing Ward down at that point? But they didn't even really need to use it. So that was like kind of something that would have been into play more that didn't even get to like actually get favored so hard.
It was just a draft that complemented VP's playstyle and had so much synergy going for them that I would have been surprised if the game would have even been close.
I think that there's a...
This is like one of those ironic votes where people are like, yeah, Envy was the MVP for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, that is that's what I was gonna.
I thought you were just gonna say like a popularity thing because we know Loda won all the other votes last time.
Nah, Twitch chat isn't that dumb.
I do think that yeah, that was a little bit sad.
No comment.
Yeah,
No
I mean
comment.
it's only the first game though. There's another